We actually have Qliphort today. Didn't think we'd see this anytime soon. And then we have this Danger Diva shenanigans along with some other interesting decks. Alright, to the 34% of you that have not smashed the living crap out of that subscribe button, smash it so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So what is going on here? Well, we actually have Qliphort. And you know, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't remember seeing Qliphort do anything anytime recently. When I heard that this deck got first place at its locals, I immediately went, yes, this is exactly what I want to see. So this is a very nice breath of fresh air, at least for, you know, like cool ideas and things people are messing around with. So we have one copy of actual Skybase. Yes, we're actually doing this. We have one copy of Qliphort Towers, triple copies of Effect Veiler, one copy of the Qliphort, two copies of Fenrir. We have two copies of Carrier with one Cephalopod, triple copies of Disc, triple copies of Helix, two copies of Shell, and then we have triple copies of Stealth. We have triple copies of Monolith and triple copies of Scout. And we have one Monster Reborn, triple copies of Pot of Prosperity. We have two Sacrifice. Very interesting because I still think this is the best card in the deck, but like you unfortunately, it does, if you can't see it, then you're just going to be in a bad position, I feel like. We also have triple copies of Summoner's Art, triple copies of Ultimate Slayer, one Upstart Goblin, one Lose One Turn, and triple copies of Skill Drain here, wrapping up your main deck. Down in the next deck, you have one Anima, triple copies of Qliphort Genius, one Troubled Sunny with one Asa, then we have one Dugaris Timeless, one Stealth Kraken with one copy of the Meteorologic Aggregator. We have one Shangri-La with one Abyss Dweller, one copy of Wind Pegasus, one Garuda, and two copies of Vanitas. Then we have triple copies of Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, triple copies of Space Rock, triple copies of Cosmic Cyclone, triple copies of Dimensional Barrier, and triple copies of Imperial Iron Wall here, wrapping up a pretty straightforward Qliphort control deck. And I am very happy to see that this is like the super sauce. You know, like people can pick this up and actually have fun with this right now. It's good stuff. Next up here is what was referred to as a Deep Sea Diva OTK. So basically what's going to happen here is you're gonna see a couple of different routes. You can make the number 100 through the Dragublion, or you can make some level 10 synchros here. Because remember, you know, Deep Sea Diva plus 2 level 8s, I mean, is a combination of, you know, Chang Ying, the Ruddy Rose, or a Baron de Fleur setup. You know, 2 other level 8s, once again, get you into the OTK factor here as well. You have a lot of different paths that you're able to go down here, and that really proves a lot, actually. So, I don't know, seeing this, like, seeing Rank 8 Toolbox actually perform is actually really cool. So I have triple copies of Alpha, the Master Beast, one copy of Ascantos, triple copies of Magna Hut. We have triple copies of Bigfoot, two copies of Thunderbird. We also have triple copies of Deep Sea Diva, two copies of Doggeron. Of course, triple copies of Godarla, the good old Wind Kaiju, two copies of Gamma Seal. We have triple copies of Gizmek Orochi. We have one copy of Yakuza, the Lord of the Eight Thunders. Don't see that much. We also have one Change of Heart, one Arby's Feather Duster, triple Kaiju Slumber, two copies of Lightning Storm, two copies of Pod Desires, triple copies of Trade-In, and two copies of the good old Talents Machine. Down in the next track, you have the one Zombie Vampire with one Gustav Max, one Onimaru with one copy of Dragublion, one Photon Lord, one Pain Gainer with one Seven Sins. We also have one Hope Harbinger, one number 100, one Zeus, and one copy of Dingrisu. You got one Cheng Ying, one Ruddy Rose, one Draco Berserker, and one Baron de Fleur. Side deck here, two copies of Inspector Border, triple Gamma with one Driver, one Lightning Storm, triple Necro Valley, triple copies of Dimensional Barrier, and two copies of There Can Only Be One. Wrapping up, quite honestly, a pretty straightforward take. This is really what you like to see here. Next up here is Drytron. Now, let's come on over here. Let's have a real discussion about this deck. I think that Drytron is it's a fun deck. I will give them that. I think that a lot of the cool things that Drytron can do are really, really cool. The problem is a couple buy steals can ruin your day. Though I will say the More Factor Pain, being able to skip the next main phase 1 of your opponent, is really, really good. If you can force your opponent to lose a battle phase, which is basically a chance to clean up a board, then this deck can actually do something. As long as, once again, buy steals are not present. and of course, your Scythe Lock Resolve. So we have one copy of Artifact Scythe, we have one copy of Chaos Valkyria with one Diviner of the Herald, we have triple copies of Alpha Thuban, we also have one copy of the Beta, two copies of Delta Alteus, triple copies of Gamma Altanen, we have triple copies of Zeta Albia, then we have one copy of Morphactor Pain, two Ben 10 with one Editon, one copy of Natasha, and one copy of Metanus Draconius. Then you got one Call by the Grave, your triple standard Cyber Emergency, triple Drytron Nova with your one Foolish Bro, two Chalice with one Harpy's Feather Duster, one Metanus Drytron, two Preparation Rites, triple Task, we also have one War Arf though, and triple copies of Infinite Permanence. Down here in the extract, you got one Lingarebo with one Unicorn, one Phoenix with one IP. We also have one Boral Sword, one Dagda, one Apollosa, two copies of Mubeta Fafnir, one Beatrice, one Abyssal with one Ultimaya Tzolk'in, one Herald, one Crystal Wing, and one Anitis. Then you got triple copies of Chaos Hunter, triple copies of Lava Golem, two copies of the Dark Hole, two Dark Ruler No More, two Twin Twisters, and triple copies of Dimensional Barrier here. Wrapping up really just the full Drytron experience, I actually am very, very, very intrigued to see what's going on here with this. Next up here, we have some Crystal Beast. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm a sucker every time we see this deck step into the light here, because it's always a cool utility resource deck that actually gets to make so many different little movements here and really kind of showcases, you know, that you have a lot of cool option trees to really shine here with this deck. So do keep that in mind. Once again, I do think this is like the deck in terms of like answering, you know, opponents' plays. All right. Also, you know, Conclave with Crystal Miracle, too good. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyspring. We have one Cobalt Eagle, with two copies of Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon. We have one Ruby Carbuncle, triple copies of the Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus, triple copies of Dimension Shifter. We have triple copies of Kashtira Fenrir with one Rainbow Dragon. We also have triple copies of Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates, two copies of Crystal Bond, triple copies of Foolish Bro Goods with one Necro Valley, triple copies of Pot of Prosperity with triple copies of Rainbow Bridge, triple copies of Rainbow Bridge of the Heart with one Zombie World. That's nice. We have one Crystal Conclave with triple copies of Miracle, triple copies of Infinite Permanence, and one copy of the Rainbow Bridge of Salvation. Down here in the extract, you have the one Underworld Goddess, one copy of Lingarebo, one Nightmare Cerberus with one Soldier Chaos. We have one Chakanine with one Borbo. We have one Tornado Dragon. We have one Baguski with one Lightning Chidori, one Light, one Cowboy, one Exoton, two Zeus, and one Dweller. Then you got the standard triple Druisworm, triple Magna Hut, your triple Cosmic Cyclone, triple Dark Ruler No More, two Dimensional Fissure, and one Harpy's Feather Duster here. Wrapping up, well, quite honestly, the experience for this deck. I'm definitely, I'm happy to see that Crystal Beast, even through everything that we have been through in this shifting metagame, that this deck is still standing strong and still has some sort of viableness out there. Next up here is some pendulums. I know so many people have been like, Robbie, where are the pendulums at? This deck checked in. It did its thing for not very long, and then it just kind of rode off into the sunset. Now you kind of hop back in our time capsule here, you know, rewind it back a couple weeks, and, you know, we're still seeing on a localized level this deck is doing pretty all right, and that's a good thing. Once again, when the local scenes are doing good, it proves that the meta's not looking too bad. So we've one Astrograph Sorcerer with triple copies of Dynamite. We have two copies of Harmonizing, triple copies of Ignis Phoenix, triple copies of Luster Pendulum with triple copies of Bambuku. We have triple copies of Majesty Pegasus with your triple copies of Odd Eyes Revolution Dragon. Of course, we have Odd Eyes Dissolver, triple copies of Odd Eyes Seer, triple copies of Scroll Combat Joker, two copies of your good old Purple Poison Friend, two Master Pendulum, and one Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon. And of course, one Call by the Grave, your one Dynamite, your one Rhoda, your one Seeker Village, one Skyris, and your two Talents. And then you got one Arrival, one Celine, one Cross Sheep, one Beyond the Pendulum, one Apple, one Access Code, one Baguski, your one Hope Harbinger, your one Magister Paladin, your one Abyss Dweller. We have two Ignister, and then we have one Borreload, one Oddities Vortex, and one Dynaster. Then we have triple copies of Dimension Shifter, one Gagaga Cowboy, triple Cosmic Cyclone, triple copies of Dark Ruler No More, one Necro Valley, one Zombie World, and triple copies of Evenly Matched here. Wrapping up, well, one of the more interesting takes that we have actually had the chance to see out here. So what do you think about these decks? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.